Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Help promote and rank up my channel. So Stargirl is back with season 2, and I'm ready to review it because I really surprisingly, shockingly enjoyed the first season all the way through, unlike the other CW shows that I just dropped out of. Will be a spoiler review, but I will be really light and vague on the biggest things in here. However, some things, in order to critique, I will have to point out. Some things, in order to praise, I will have to point out. So let's get right to it. And I want to hear your opinion of this episode in the comment section below. Your opinion of the first season, your interest level in this show. Also, I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I'd greatly appreciate you to hit that like, hit that subscribe, bring some attention to my channel. Greatly appreciated. See you in the comment section. Let's get to the positives. Positives! It hasn't dipped in quality or budget. Every main character is dealing with the after effects of season 1, where they found out all the villains were actually social justice warriors in favor of all these policies that you would only hear. That was so damn hilarious. Anyways, dealing with the after effects of season 1, Beth lost Chuck, Beth not having Chuck or anybody to talk to, still being the sweetest daughter and person you could imagine, dealing with upsetting information in regards to her parents who just aren't there for her, take any real interest in her. That is a really interesting thing to explore. Bad for her, but at the same time, it's great for drama, right? And Rick, discovering Grundy is still out there. That's a fascinating little subplot that I want to see develop more so than anything else in this amazing show. This season has a theme of summer school. I don't know why. I'm very curious, though, as to why this theme and what they're gonna do with it. Entire episode, this first episode, is just setting the stage for the rest of the season to come. We get a creepy opening scene set in the 60s, or maybe even 50s. Midnighter's daughter. She's lured to a creepy situation by this little boy targeted by Eclipso, obviously as a family member of a JSA member. I only assume what happened to the daughter was briefly seen on the likeness of the doll. Calypso tricked her into stealing, and it turned to this horrifying Annabelle style. Just briefly. And the mother screams in horror. We never see what happened, but I assume the way that doll looked is the way she looks there laying on the ground. Costumes, props, special effects are still top notch. I was so worried about the show moving to CW, because CW, DC shows just, they don't cut it for me. I dipped out of them for several reasons. Not just the quality of the budget, but supporting characters hijacking the show from the main character, pushing him to the side where he's like an afterthought. Arrow, Flash, and some of these shows really get in really too deep with all the political, feminist, and all the kind of ideology type stuff. I mean, this show so far has proven to be a labor of love. I love Stargirl's excitement and enthusiasm for being a superhero, and after the big events of the first season, such a rush and a high point, tough act to follow, and she wants her everyday life to live up to that, to those expectations. She wants to find the bad guys before it's too late. Lots of name drops in here, Easter eggs, references. As usual, that's what you can usually expect from a comic book show. Brec's acting is as good as ever. Everybody's acting is pretty damn good in here. Still solid. Nothing too bothersome. Along with Luke Wilson, who now has 2 kids that want nothing more than to be heroes, and how that affects the parents this season, it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds, because you can already see it, and it's making for some great tension. There's sure to be a rebellion, as teenagers tend to. There is a visually dazzling fight scene between Stargirl and another DC superhero late into the episode, along with a reveal at the end that will have you excited for more. A lot is introduced to flesh out for the season without being too much. Should be great. And supporting characters in here, like I said, do act as supporting characters with their own subplots, not hijacking the show as other DC shows have done. But we'll have to see if they can maintain that. There's a lot of intriguing mystery coming from several areas in this episode. The negatives. There are negatives. Unfortunately, the episode is very slow and largely uneventful. Big things to come are alluded to. The biggest cliffhanger from last season, still unresolved, still unanswered, still just being teased. For how long will they drag that out? It could get ugly if they drag it out for too long. Another one that's a negative for me, I thought the way they conveyed the trauma from Yolanda that she's suffering since her actions in season 1 was pretty underwhelming and poorly executed. It needs to be there for character growth, but with better delivery. As for Stargirl herself, I would have hoped for more character growth and a better understanding of how to balance hero and personal life after the struggles and discoveries made in the first season. Feels like almost like we're back at square one. Pat enlists the help of some guy named Zeke, I think his name was, to operate the shop in his absence while the family goes on vacation. And Zeke wants to know what's behind this special door at the shop, and Pat insists he not go in there. Instead of having the sense to lock the door, it just feels forced to move whatever this plot is gonna be forward. This whole thing was really odd to me, questionable, head-scratching. And while I mentioned there is a good fight scene in there, some parts of that fight scene aren't that great. I did not like the outside the kitchen shots blocking our view from some of the action. And in the cafeteria, I thought Stargirl's takedown of Artemis Croc felt really forced, as well as the principal's lack of a hard, strict response to it in comparison to Courtney needing to go to summer school. So overall, I'd say that it was pretty average, likable episode. It has some really strong elements in it, a lot of stuff that you'll crave to be fleshed out. Overall, I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Not getting anything fleshed out here. You're just being introduced to more things that you don't have the answer to, and you can look forward to them being answered over the course of the season. We do introduce another superhero here that I definitely want to see more of, because this isn't with the power set this character has. It's not something you get to see too often in live action. It's going to be pretty awesome. Stay awesome. Rock on. Tune in for the next time I review this stuff.